This is actually an elderly gentleman who came with a dense corneal opacity which looked more like a CHED, and he had undergone an optical iridectomy long time ago in his childhood. Unfortunately, he lost his other eye, and this is a one-eyed patient. And here I could not see the status of the lens, although I have done the scan, etc. And I'm going about doing the PK with a suction trephine. And here is the suction trephine. This is from Mother Instruments. They only make from 7 to 8, but these are pretty good given the fact that it costs about 1/10 the cost of any suction trephine that is available from the international market, and it makes a pretty good cut. So after I made the initial cut, it's not cut completely through and through all around. I put in some viscoelastic, and with my corneal scissors, corneal transplant scissors, I am going ahead and excising that corneal button. There is a little bit of shelving which I am not very bothered about in the inferior part, and there you can see the optical iridectomy done. Pupil is dilated. There is a significant cataract, and so I decided to handle the cataract on the table itself. And this is a very tricky part, very difficult to do a rhexis in the open chamber, but I am going ahead and very carefully trying to guide this rhexis with my cystitome itself. You could use forceps, it's probably a better idea, but I find that sometimes the forceps can get in the way of your vision because your fingers are so close. So yes, but you could use a forceps. That's not a good enough excuse, I'm sorry. And since I am able to proceed, I'm just the final part, I do use the forceps to complete the rhexis. And now I am doing the hydrodissection. Watch, be very careful. The rhexis has to be adequate, otherwise you will land up in an intracapsular. But the rhexis is adequate, and there comes out the nucleus beautifully. And this is the other difficult part, to aspirate the cortex in an open globe, because sometimes you really do not know whether you are holding on to the capsular edge and not cortical material. But be very careful, and it's very easy to approach it 360 degrees. And in this case, I'm putting in a foldable eye, and this is extremely difficult to put in an open chamber to get it into the bag. Trying, however, I did get it into the bag, but even if you don't get it into the bag, once you put in your graft and put in enough sutures, you can manipulate it into the bag. So that's not a big issue. So there's that done, and as you can see, I've taken the graft, putting in the first cardinal suture. I'm not going to go through this through every suture. Just I have decided to put in interrupted sutures in this case, and there I am checking the IOL whether it's in the bag. Make sure it's in the bag. You don't want this in the sulcus, especially in a one-eyed patient. Usually I pre-place my sutures 4-4-4 and then keep tying them off. So my usual method of suture closure is 3-2-1 with the final knot squaring off. Just putting in some air, and you can see the air is beautifully round. So that shows that your suturing is pretty good. Just burring all the knots There is one short suture. Normally I would have taken it out and put it again. I didn't bother. I think probably he was already giving me trouble. These surgeries take so long, and these are such old patients. You can't just expect them to stay there on your table forever. So here I'm putting in my intracameral antibiotic. I've taken out some air, and we are good to close. Thank you so much for your patient watching of the entire edited surgery.